What I work on primarily is I have writing and speaking classes, basically two-pronged. One side of it is all about giving services to international students who need assistance with English language ability. My job is to create classes that goes ahead and helps them to feel more confident, more comfortable in their use of the English language. The second portion that I'm working on, along with the Internationalization and Global Engagement Office, is to go ahead and create an ESL program, which is going to help students coming into Emerson to prepare them ahead of time. What kind of skills are they going to need in order to be able to write papers, to speak in class, to use in general the skill sets of reading, writing, listening, and speaking within context here at school as well as their career futures. And so that's the concept, is to help people to feel confident, to be prepared, and to feel in so many ways an expressive person within both their own culture's language but also within English, and then they can share that across borders. For Emerson, there is quite a broad swath of people coming from different cultures. Within any one of the fields here, people can easily be interacting with people from multinational backgrounds. My background was in the U.S. military, and so I worked as a public affairs specialist. I worked as a journalist, photojournalist, and then I worked on groups who would go over speeches, as well as we would communicate with the public as well as with the press. Within the field of English as a second language, you're looking at giving people the ability to be able to do presentations, to be able to write well, and to communicate more clearly. And so, in many respects, what I learned as in the field of public relations is really about how well can you communicate as well as be persuasive in the process. And I think that's a key element that many students and people in any career field really need to have. In the fall, I teach 2 writing classes. Those particularly are about base structures of how to do not just research papers, but any sort of paper that does comparison and contrast about materials in the world that we want to make opinion remarks on. Second, I also teach a speaking class, and the speaking class is about critique of various subjects in the United States as well as comparison culturally to other places, so that the dialogues that can occur in that classroom are a way for students to be able to move into their own classrooms and discuss it. Fall classes are specifically for graduate students at present. The spring, on the other hand, there are both undergraduate and graduate, and they fold together into single classes. Even though they have 2 different titles, or I should say 2 different numbers, that the spring classes are open for both grads and undergrads. There are 2 classes in writing. One is for creative writing. That one is particularly about how do you use different creative writing devices like poetry, narrative, and how they actually show up in pretty much any field. Second is a specific research writing class that looks at 2 very succinct structures, one about comparison and contrast, and the second one which is about writing a specific argumentative paper. I also have another class in the spring which is a speaking class that is about talking about persuasive speech and propaganda. Sometimes it runs and sometimes it doesn't, depending on one of the things I have going on.